Where does your creative choice depend on? What does it really rely on to when you make your creative choices in your life to create your works or how you create your works? Is it external or is it internal? Or do you have the healthy balance between the two when you make those important choices? I have been reading Kandinsky's book about spirituality and art, and it talks about how artists need to make choices from their emotion and from their internal power above the external circumstances that surround the artist. And to have a healthy balance is very important because we can't just ignore the external circumstances that's around us because we need to live in this world. But ultimately, he says that the internal beauty will eventually overcome the external beauty. Hello there. Welcome back to Yubi I am Yubi. I am an artist and a fashion photographer and stylist. I have finished my quarter and it's actually my first break that I decided to keep on my creative practice, because usually when I am not in school, I usually don't do anything creative because that time in school with deadlines and really pushing hard of creative work makes me kind of burn out. So during the break, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to let go of all this. But I realized that being in school is actually for me to learn and adjust my life so it's creative no matter if I'm in school or not. I'm in school to discipline myself, to learn how to really keep creating even if there's no deadlines and even if there's no purpose. So it's been a week or two after the school has ended, but I have decided to create things that's just for me, not for school or any goal, which has been still challenging. I'm a very goal-oriented person, but I realize creativity is not about that. It's about having fun. It's about being honest with my emotions and being very transparent of this present moment. As you have seen, I just started my bookbinding. Bookbinding has been one of my number one videos that I've been watching even before the quarter ended because I was ready to start these projects. I have 7 books that I have planned to create for Christmas gifts, and these are the signatures that are gonna go in. I'm so excited. Yeah, so I've been very excited to bring this vlog because it's a vlog not for showing one specific artwork or a process of one specific goal, but just a creative life of a break, just for fun and just to do some other creative things that I wanted to do in my free time. So enjoy my vlog, and again, thanks for coming. Journaling is a very important tool in my studio for me to really hear and recognize the internal power inside me so I can make creative choices more wisely. I take all my external and internal voices that's accumulated for a while, and then journaling, what it does, it filters it. I take the things and I filter it in my inner being so it could be my inner power, but sometimes I choose some things that I decide not to be inside me and I kind of filter it out. And these days, my unheard desire that's kind of buried under my unconsciousness is about really sharing my work and sharing my talent to the world so I could help and support and show and express my love to the community that's around me or the people that's very close to me. So I wanted to show you my signatures that I created last night. I stacked them like this because I just love how it looks stacked. It's like a preview of how the book's gonna look. I'm very excited to make this Christmas project because I love journaling, and because I love journaling and creating journals for myself, I thought it'd be a great gift for others too, or maybe encourage them to, start journaling. So I created these from my own paper that I dyed with coffee and black tea, even though I don't drink them. But I also have these papers are from a vintage photo book. I'm gonna show you right now. These are vintage photo books that I got from thrift store, and these had different range of photos of nature and flowers, and the paper was very thick and good quality, and also had variety of text and illustrations of flowers, and I thought it'd be a great paper that I could use. I torn off some paper already here, as you can see. So that's the paper here on a few stacks that I have here. This is, I would open the book and it would be like this. And it would have a variety of paper. These are the paper that I created with coffee and black tea. And this is mulberry paper that I actually bought, but I'm really looking into videos to create my own paper. And this is paper from Scraplanta. Scraplanta is a secondhand scrapbook shop that I'm going to introduce probably soon in this video. Another different signature. So these are created just by scrap pattern paper that I recently bought, and I just think these color palette is just so beautiful. And I also included in this signature a fairy tale book. So I got a book from the same thrift store, an old fairy tale book, and I got inspired by Johanna. She is a junk journal YouTuber. Her stuff is beautiful, and she uses fairy tale books in her cover and her inside materials, and I was very inspired by that. And I actually turned off mostly a lot of the papers that's already here already. Look at that, it's so pretty. Like when you open it up, it has the picture and it looks like part of a cover or something. Like here, I intentionally had the most inside book page of this signature to be this beautiful photography. So when you open it up, the most inside part will show this beautiful photography, and I love that. So I have been reading from Kandinsky's book. I read a book average every week, and I love reading about art history, art and mentality, art and spirituality, and this is Wassily Kandinsky's Spirituality in Art, or Mentality in Art. It's actually one of the very prestigious and important books in art history, because Kandinsky was one of the father of abstract art that it started in Germany, especially in München. His readings, especially at the end part of the chapters, and also some other books that I'm reading about art, I'm really meditating about how the inner power should be the motivation and the guidance to make choices in my artwork, or to make any kind of decisions that I do as an artist, because that has been on my mind constantly. Even after the break, I I just wanted to share some bits from my Kindle to share thoughts about what I have been thinking, applying to my life, about how external environment should not be the main resource for me to decide of things in my art or in my art practice. It should be something that's in my mentality, in my spirit, and in my emotion. Kandinsky says that the internal beauty will substitute the external beauty. He says that there is more power and more movement in the beauty that's inside us as an artist that would eventually, even in the future, he's looking at the modern art right now, will substitute what we see apparently beautiful. He says that it's important as an artist to realize that the artist should put more weight into the voice of my emotions and the movement or the push that's inside my psychological manner and the inner power that I could feel. And he says this rule shouldn't be just forced upon artists because it doesn't work like that. It will naturally be a discipline for artists. And if I start to practice to really kind of redirect my antenna of my artwork to my spirit and my soul, the artwork or the appearance of the artwork will naturally just resemble me. And that's what I've been really wanting to pursue. And even in my practice, I am naturally a designer and I know how things would look pretty naturally, but I want to hear what my emotion is saying. I want to hear and be guided by my mentality or the voice inside me. And I think and I believe, even though I haven't done much yet, I believe that it will bloom into a more beautiful result that I would not imagine. I'm very excited, and I think this is something I really want to hold, not just this season, but until a very long time. The winter break was a great opportunity and time for me to really stop and see my works and realize that I have been creating things that others liked. I mean, it's important to really hear feedback and be critical about the direction that I'm going, but the time really granted me to realize where did my creative choice and decisions come from. And I want my creative decisions to come mostly from my internal power and my emotions and my mentality of mine more than the others. And usually when I really listen to my inner being and my mentality or my inner voice inside my unconsciousness, inside deep and in me, there are ideas that has been sitting there for a really, really long time. And journaling and really spending time to hear about myself or taking that break really makes me hear and kind of salvation that idea that has sitting in me that I really want to input into my artwork or just try it out at my small practices, which these small panels were actually a result of it. These panels were just sitting in front of my work, the large works, for a really long time without being touched, with just one surface layer of abstract paint. But I always wanted to add flowers in terms of white and with clean and kind of unique touches that only I could do. I believe art is a way and a discipline for me to choose my own choices, meaning it's a practice where I am practicing to choose and make a choice from my internal power and my emotions that's in me. And sometimes that's really hard, just living this life, making choices on my own. But art is a very visual and tangible and physical way to do that. And I want to tell you to not be afraid to do that on your small panel, because that panel is yours and there is a huge possibility in your heart and your mentality and in your spirit.
많이 받지 않았을까? 맞아요. 이영희 선수의 딸. 부담스럽죠. 부담스러울 수 있는데요.
자녀가 또 테니스를 한다 그러면
또 왜 미국에서 좀 있었다고 그랬잖아요.
So I just came back from a private luncheon opening at Reineke Gallery in Atlanta, Miami Circle. I met new people, and to be honest, I haven't been to that many gallery openings or any events in the galleries, which it was very refreshing to go to galleries and meet new people that are interested in art. It's like a practice for me to go out and meet, because I love talking about my work or talking about other artists' work. So yeah, it was good. But I really wanted to show the works that I did last night, because these are beautiful. I'm really wanting to go to like a market or be a vendor at an art market so I can sell like small works like this. I'm looking for a market in Atlanta or Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you guys know any of the markets that I could actually apply for vendor this year, next year, please let me know. But I have, so these 5 pieces were originally just like one of the backgrounds here. I practiced with my towel. We did this project. We had to use a non-paint brush tool to create a abstract paint, and I used my fabric to create this colored background. So I'm going to show you from the first, and then I just left them like with colored paint on it. I just left them, and I realized I should get on with this and see where it goes. So the first one is this. It's I just painted rose. I think this is English rose. I saw it from one of my flower books, and I painted it straight on top of the abstract fabric painted background. I just painted with white, and I added some actual floral pressed flowers to give that dimension. I just love adding white at the last layer, because it just gives that beautiful, holy, sacred, but clean, modern look. And it was just a white painting on top. And the second one is this. I think this is one of my favorites. So I originally wanted to try this, like make a full background of colors and blockage the shape of some object, in this case flower, with white. And I loved how the blocked white creates beautiful shapes inside, and you don't know what color is gonna come out. And I also stuck some pressed flowers, and I just wanted to hide that glue gun poop, I'll say, with just scrapbook tape, washi tape. I'm probably gonna go over with varnish or some kind of adhesive material for finisher, so these could hold on to the pressed flowers. And the next one was a beluga. So beluga is one of my favorite subjects that it repeats in my work, and I actually want to do a huge piece that's just about beluga. I think beluga is fascinating for me because it's something that I've actually seen, and I don't know if you've been to the aquarium in Atlanta. They have a huge wall that shows belugas. We can see belugas and you can just sit there for hours and hours. And they're massive, but they're so free and beautiful. And just the atmosphere and the vibe that they create as they fly or swim along the water and just watch them, you just feel that peace and calm and such energy that comes inside me. And that's why I love belugas. And I started to incorporate them from last year, and surprisingly many people realize that it's actually a beluga, not just a fish. And the last two, I really like this one too. I think the white blockage technique is so fun. Look at that. I just think what it shows in the white blocks, and that it creates a layer of subject with the underlayer. I just love seeing layers, and I think that creates a depth of field even though it's one-dimensional plane. And on top of that, the pressed flowers creates another plane that actually creates a three-dimensional plane, and that's just fascinating. Like, I could just imagine this in a 30 by 40 or 40 by 50, and it'd be beautiful. The last one is actually sweet pea. It's a sweet pea flower, and just like the first one, I kind of painted white on top of it to create the highlights, and also added, it's not a sweet pea flower, but I thought the shape would really collaborate well. I think they turned out so beautifully. Look. Let me know if you have any favorites. So I'm kind of excited to show almost done junk journal number 1. It's almost done, but I need to bind the signatures to the journal, but look how pretty it is just the way it looks now. We used felt to go over, or I guess like a foundation for my scrap cover. And I have some lace that is holding, these are just all vintage laces. I remember getting these vintage laces at Amarillo, Texas. I was at a huge vintage store and they had a huge bag of laces. So here it's the signatures that you've seen, and this part I have some parts that's not perfect. I just couldn't measure well. I never thought about it, but I think next time I'm probably gonna do this well. But it still looks vintage, and it's junk journal, so it should have that pretty casualties. And my signatures, even though they're not sewn yet, each signature has fabric sewn to the end, so when it's folded over, it has a decorative element also. And this was also inspired by Johanna, who is a junk journal YouTuber. Please go see her, it's just so inspiring. And let's see if I could flip this standing. And the signatures are the same, but it will look something like this. And I was just as excited to show, even though it's not done, because how it looks already, it's so pretty. And I even have one of them with the lace on it. Do you see the lace on it? These are coming soon. They're kind of just felt and fabric stuck together. They need to be sewn and it'll look like the one that I just created. So I wanted to introduce Scrablanta because I just thought this place was amazing. This place is a secondhand used art material store, and it's local. I got recommended by a friend in my class. When she saw me, I was so into like scrapbook stuff. She was like, you should go to Scrablanta. I love buying papers and materials, but sometimes like just a pack of paper, it's like $25, and that's why I try to dye my paper myself or create the paper myself, or just used paper from like magazines that I don't look anymore, or the old photos. But here they had a lot of goods, and I really want to recommend, if you're an artist in Atlanta, and if you're creating something, if you're scrapbooking, if you're making art journals like me, there is paint, there is glass jars, there's fabric, paper, wood panels, and just small little things that you could probably get anything at Hobby Lobby. I mean, I love Hobby Lobby. There's beads, there's pens, there's Christmas goods, there's clays, there was old wallpapers, and I just wanted to show what I got from Scrablanta before I started my junk journal project. So first of all, I got my 2 big jars from Scrablanta because I needed some jars to have my dried flowers be safe, and just the look of glass jars, I just thought they were pretty to go on my cupboard. And I got this used to be bigger. It's a felt, it's a used leftover felt, and I got it so I could use it for the felt covers or the fabric covers for my junk journal. And I was about to get one at Amazon for like $20, but this was just leftover, and I think it was like this big when it first came. I already used a bunch, and it was like $2. I got threads. This was one of the most exciting buys because I know I took sewing classes before, and on the first day of sewing classes we go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's to buy our own threads, and these are like $3 or $2 per piece, the good ones, you know. But these were all new, and this one, I already started to use it on the first junk journal that you just saw. And these were all new but used, and only, how much was it? I have the receipt here. For 4 of them, they were $1. Like, really, it was $1. Focus. So if you are not a serious sewer, I mean, even if you're a serious sewer, I mean, I'm not really a serious sewer, I'm like a, hobby here and there sewer, but if you need, and these colors were just so pretty. Oops, I just dropped one. And there was a whole cupboard of different colors. There's one cupboard with like warm colors, cold colors, purples, and I'm very excited for this gold one. I'm probably going to use it for one of the junk journals too. And this is a piece of wood that I randomly just found, and I don't know what it was originally for. I'm going to probably use it in one of my artworks as like a decoration on the top or something, like an ornament piece. And last but not least, I got some envelopes. I realized going through many videos of junk journals, we use a lot of envelopes, and I don't carry any envelopes in. And I was intentionally looking for envelopes when I went there, and they had a box of envelopes, just any envelopes, like for, bills, or envelopes for letters, or even like blank letter envelopes. And I got just this one random one. That is a set with inside cover, inside card is a set. I'm probably gonna put that in the junk journal too. I am very excited to share because I'm probably gonna go again to really find new materials that's used. And as an artist myself, I use a lot of things and sometimes I don't use all of them. I thought it was a very smart cycle that the owner created for the artist to come to get what's used without spending much money that might be sometimes a little hassle for you. Even if I thought when I need to throw things away, rather than going to the bin, I could go to Scraplanta and see what they have or donate to them and creating that healthy cycle. And just buying all this, even though it wasn't many, I only spent $9. And with that $9, I'm creating my junk journals, which is very exciting. So I will wanted to encourage you to find a place like that, or if you're in Atlanta, visit and see. Thanks for tuning in for some long thoughts about your choices and your creative practices, and that you are powerful inside you and you are always being heard through your art. Thank you, and see you in my next vlog.